Hello everyone, thank you so much for having me here. It's great to be here to tell you our fantastic story about discovering uranium in the Athabasca Basin. So we have a near-surface uranium discovery, it's high grade, and it's looking like it has some real scale to the system, so it's a very exciting time to be here to talk to you about it. But let me first set the scene on the uranium market. I know that Duncan from BOSS is going to be talking in the next session, so he'll get into a lot more detail, but there's really a few key points that I want to point out. The first is we're going through a nuclear renaissance. The world is crying out for baseload energy and carbon-free baseload energy, and that's really what nuclear power can provide the world at the moment. So it's an exciting time in the uranium market for us. We've seen recent increases in the uranium price of 6%, and the uranium market fundamentals are really the best fundamentals we've seen in 30 years in the uranium market. So it's really about to pop. The other really key important thing about the uranium market is we're really starting to see long-term contracting cycle begin again. There's been 100 million pounds of uranium signed up this year already, and that is only going to keep increasing on and on we go. So it's a really beautiful time to be exploring for uranium. There has been 10 years lack of exploration and development in the uranium market, and I think this is a very exciting time for our sector. So just quickly about 92 Energy, we are really in that investor sweet spot. We have a discovery and only a $40 million market cap. It is a high-grade discovery with immense growth potential and a very strong outlook for the uranium market. The discovery already has one defined zone, 250 by 240 metres. It's near surface with high-grade uranium. The uranium we're seeing there is currently double the grade of the uranium that is mined around the world. And we've also had some very high-grade results. So that 9.66% uranium intercept, just to put that in context, that's half a metre at the gold equivalent of 176 grams per tonne of gold. So extremely high grades. What that tells us is this system in the Athabasca Basin has the potential to really host high-grade areas, and that's super exciting to us. We also have a very high-grade intercept, which is 40 metres at 0.6%. That's the equivalent of 40 metres at 13 grams of gold per tonne. So we're looking at extremely high grades at our project. We also have two other fantastic projects in the pipeline. Tower, which is only 10 kilometres from Cigar Lake, which is the highest grade uranium deposit in the world. We actually intercepted uranium in our first drill program there, and it's looking very promising. It's got some uranium pathfinders in it, including dravite, so a lot of good potential there. And also our WARES project, which is looking like a dead ringer for an analogy for the Rough Rider and Hurricane discoveries. Hurricane, of course, is the highest grade uranium deposit in the world, and so that's a very exciting project for us as well. And of course, the board and management team, we've got an excellent board and management team. We're all around during the last uranium cycle. Myself included was part of the Extract Resources team. We sold that Husab uranium discovery for $2.2 billion. And the key point there to point out is that was a uranium explorer just like 92 Energy was. It started off with a market cap of $2 million and exited for $2.2 billion. So it really does show the potential upside for a good uranium story and a good exploration and discovery. The Athabasca Basin, it really is the highest grade uranium jurisdiction in the world. It's been mining uranium for many, many years, and if you're in the uranium market, you really want to be operating in those jurisdictions which are uranium jurisdictions. You can see here the grades are up to 100 times higher than the grades elsewhere in the world, and you've seen that by that mega 10% grade that we've hit at Gemini already. And of course, we have 7 fantastic projects in the Athabasca. Gemini is the project that we're really focusing on with all our efforts at the moment. It's right on the edge of the Athabasca Basin, very similarly placed to many of those mines that you can see that have already mined uranium in the Athabasca Basin in the past, including Rabbit Lake, which we can talk about in a little bit. It's a dead ringer for what the Gemini uranium system is looking like as well. So just quickly, you can see in the right-hand box there, with the very high CINT readings of 37,800 and something, I can't actually see with my glasses, but that's the 10% uranium that we're talking about. So that's the juice, and that's really what you want to be seeing when you're drilling. And of course, we've had many, many high-grade hits there in the well-defined zone at Gemini already. So this is the really, really exciting story that I really want to get across and drive home to our investors out there. We just had a drill program, and the main purpose of that drill program was to really demonstrate that, yes, we've got this great zone already defined, it's got pounds in the ground, but there's also significant upside to this whole system. We've got a western trend, which we haven't even started drilling, and that's actually in the Athabasca Basin there. But on the eastern side, we've done a little bit of drilling. We've really only scratched the surface, but we've hit uranium, a potential new zone 280 metres north. That's got grades very similar to our initial discovery hole at Gemini, and we'll be looking to vector into those holes in the next drill program coming up. The really exciting thing that's got me going is the northern area, about a kilometre north from where the mineralisation is. We hit dravite. Dravite is a really important uranium pathfinder. It's really only found in your mega uranium deposits, such as your Arrow, Cigar Lake and MacArthur Rivers. So that's got us really excited. We're going to be following up there. So another potential new zone there. Who knows, it could be an Arrow or Cigar Lake. We've just got to really drill it. So lots of potential upside on this system, and really, as I said, we've only scratched the surface. There's potentially significant scale to this system. The way these deposits tend to work in the Athabasca Basin is they come in a series of pods and zones, and we think that we've got several zones on both the east and western side of this project, so very exciting. This is the current mineralised zone. As you can see, it's still open in all directions. We've put quite a few drill holes in there. We've had those high-grade results. It really hangs together as a proper mineralised zone, and there is quite a few pounds in the ground here, so it's quite an exciting place to start, and we're hoping to really build up on that inventory as we go forward. As I said, it remains open in all directions, and so we've got some significant drilling to still do at this original zone that we've got there. This is just a cross-section. It's that thick and continuous zones of mineralisation, that 42 metres of 0.6%, all hangs together. That was the 8th best publicly available uranium intercept drill globally last year, which is pretty significant because all of those other drill holes came from established uranium deposits. So this is, really an emerging new uranium deposit in the Athabasca Basin. What's really interesting is this zone is a dead ringer for Rabbit Lake, which was actually an area that was mined in the Athabasca Basin, very successfully mined, very economic. That had 35 million pounds at an average mined grade of 0.32%. So our grades are actually looking very similar to that, and it's a very nice starting position to have. So this is our theory here, and you can see McLean Lake, which is it's a mine that's already been mined in the Athabasca Basin, has a series of zones on the left there, so you can see that all the Sioux lined up. And what the really interesting thing is that it's a sort of dead ringer geologically to what we're looking at Gemini. You can see where our GMZ is at the bottom on the right-hand corner of the eastern trend. So we're hoping to drill out several different zones. The important thing to note is those zones can really vary in the grade. So they can start off at 0.3% and they can go up to 6% or even higher. It's possible that there's a very substantial zone along that trend on both the eastern side and the northern side. So that's very exciting for us, and we really can't wait to get in there and really drill away. Just on that, Rabbit Lake had a series of zones and they had a total inventory of 200 million pounds of uranium. So possibility for this to maybe get up there in terms of the number of pounds of uranium in the ground. And of course, again, very successfully mined uranium in the Athabasca. This is just a really nice diagram or schematic of Athabasca uranium deposits that have been mined. You can see all the brown ones have actually been mined, as have Cigar Lake and MacArthur River. But the important thing to note here is those basement-hosted near-surface uranium deposits are the ones that are mined. And you can see Arrow and Triple R, they're the next cabs off the rank in the Athabasca Basin. So we're really positioned where the GMZ is, near surface, potential for open pit. It really is in the sweet spot of where these deposits can be mined. And so it's a very exciting place for us to be. So as I said, we've just finished a 4,385 metre program. We'll be looking at all our results. We got our assay results back last week, so we'll be looking at them and developing our new project, which we'll be drilling sometime this year. We've got 7 projects in and around the basin and a great technical team who's active in creating value through project generation. And I just wanted to quickly touch on our other 2 projects. That's Tower, which is 10 kilometres from Cigar Lake, which is the highest grade uranium mine in the world. I think the grades that they're mining there are something like 17% uranium. So if you compare that to the sort of grades in Africa, which are 500 ppm, they're really mega grades. So this is 10 kilometres from Cigar Lake. We were very fortunate on our inaugural drill program there to intercept uranium. And you know, as I said, there's uranium pathfinders in those holes, and so that tells us that potential for some very exciting deposit, and we're potentially very close to something there. And this WARES project is a dead ringer for Hurricane, which, as I said, is the highest grade uranium discovery in the world. I think that some of the grades in Hurricane have been up to 70%, and the average grade is sitting around 20%, so super high grade. They had uranium at the unconformity there and a swarm of conductors coming down towards that. That's what this is looking like. This is something that we're really prioritising, and hopefully we'll be able to get to drilling this sometime this year. So, as I said, I'm going to leave Duncan, the expert, to really talk about the uranium fundamentals, but they are the best fundamentals we've seen in a very long time. You know, Japan is restarting all their nuclear reactors and they've just announced new builds. China's nuclear program is absolutely gigantic, as is India's, looking good, and they're going down the track of nuclear. Korea's announced that they're going to go 30% energy. And, you know, really we're looking at nuclear power extensions in the US, Belgium and Japan. So all of these things feed into the market. It's a very, very exciting place to be. You know, you're seeing, you know, some really great articles come out about the transformation of coal fire into small modular reactors. And so this really can transform the world into a decarbonised world, which is a really great place to be, and it's great for the nuclear market. Just quickly about our corporate snapshot, we only have 92.7 million shares on issue. As I said, market capitalisation of 40 million. We are in that investor sweet spot in terms of where we're positioned with the uranium market and with this discovery. And the board and management team, you know, we've all been around for a very long time. Steve Blower is an absolute expert explorer in the Athabasca Basin. He discovered that Hurricane deposit, which I was talking about. Ollie Cruiser did the prospectivity study over the basin. Myself, I'm Extract Resources, and Kane and Sariaglu helped discover a lot of those deposits that Fission Energy have in the Athabasca Basin. So just in summary, 92 Energy. We've had some really great exploration results at our Gemini project. It has a zone with known mineralisation in it. It's looking fantastic, lots of potential upside, and an increasing uranium market, which I think is about to pop. So thanks very much.